Yeah, I saw that. That's really fun. Yeah. I get on your Facebook. Yeah, that's I saw yeah. There's a season zero, so kind of pilot testing. Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. You're scared. Scared. Okay, yeah. Good, man. How's it going? Yeah, I'm ready to get posting okay. So what is That's the first year you got this. I mean, get an idea. You contact me, so I don't know. Did you start specialized legals and this whole I did some of it. Okay, yeah.
That's commercial quality.
Okay. Hate wires. What is this yours as well, Mateus? Is this yours? Is that ours?
No.
everyone else meets at public can attend. So I have flexibility during the week as well. That's not a problem. It's just meetings. Yes. Oh, I saw. It's a
I think
Let's kick it off.
ready to start?
Observe it because Joe's an attorney. It's not for just talks.
Okay. So I'm going to open. That's a mic to you. The
Give it to
mat.
Give it to Matt. Let him kick it off. He's the boss. He's the CEO. So then I'm number 3 in command.
And then we got Tony. And then I start my presentation. Maybe I should ask once you speak before my presentation. Then.
That's cool.
Joe.
Yeah. For a pitch because he's got to leave by what time? He said
6:30.
we have some time, right?
Yeah.
So let's do it, and then we'll rush him in, and then we'll push Jim out. Too bad. Okay. Yeah. So maybe who's sitting up here? Is the chairs right there? Should we use the chairs or no?
can invite everyone here.
No, it's different. He was first section. I just got it. And I have to go back to come to people. I'm going to be yelling at trees. I have a very left community. I love them. Yeah, just very nice people. But they're like, stop these things that are a little bit. State government here, but the government here. You know, they're all the time. These guys from Buffalo. Yeah, well,
We're on line two, right? You're on line?
Hello everyone. Today we start the first day of our Wild Week. Thank you all for coming. We're going to start with a very special introduction from Matt, who's going to explain the whole purpose, the whole program with PNMC and what the goal is for accomplishing this week.
Great. Thanks for having me here. Welcome to those who came from New York. Really appreciate having me here. You know, the story here is I was down in New York working on a project, and I ran into the leadership team here at Build City. And I was so impressed with everything that they were doing because besides, you know, a lot of people just talk about the technology and the great developments that they had, but they were talking about how can we help people. And at the core of it, it was coming from the heart and using where all these technological advances are, you know, most people don't know what it even means, myself included, but it was coming from the heart of how do we make people's lives better. And I'm not down in New York, Buffalo, or I'm going down to New York, I started with the city team. And when I met them, it was all about how they showed me everything that was going on in New York. When I look at what's going on here in Buffalo, I look at the University of Buffalo. I know some University of Buffalo students are here, some are listening online. You know, the governor, Kathy Hochul, has invested big in Empire AI, which is a big investment here at the University of Buffalo. And one of the things that I've seen over the years, and you know, one of the things that I can say now is on hold, so that means I've seen a lot and I get to watch all this stuff. But the reality is connecting downstate with what they're doing at Build City and the whole tech scene in downstate of New York City with what we're doing here in Buffalo, I think is something that's really important. So this, why I'm so excited about this is the beginning. This is the beginning about building a great partnership all the way across New York State Highway. And, you know, Kathy Hochul, the governor being here from Buffalo, I know her heart is in Buffalo, New York State, and she would love to see the connection of Manhattan, and everything going on downstate with what's going on here upstate in Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse. So thanks for being here, thanks for participating in this, and I look forward to connecting all those dots across New York State. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt, as our CEO of Buffalo Campus, and I want to thank. This is our first. We've done a bunch of firsts here, and this vibe coding concept. You know, at first it's pretty scary. You're like, vibe code, what does it mean? How will we get there? So my name is Sam Morazzo, and one of the things I love to enjoy is innovation and experimentation. And I'm a curious guy, very curious about tech, what's happening in the market. And I've been playing with vibe coding for a little while. And then I met this concept called from Build City. Matt said, well, you got to talk to these folks. And I said, well, what are they doing? They were putting together a whole framework around, you know, how do we take a concept to code quickly without really spending a lot of time iterating. So if you're a business person, understanding the domain of something, you have a focus of domain, you don't know much about how to write a line or create a visual representation of that. This new, I guess, concept or phenomenon is vibe coding, leveraging tools in the market to create your concept, which is basically in the past you needed teams of folks. You needed someone who had specialties in programming, specialties in design. Now with a domain expert, someone who understands the supply chain, building a platform to deliver my product in a optimizing my delivery from 8 to 12, we can build that in leveraging AI. So what's really exciting is we're here in Buffalo for, again, another first. We're introducing vibe coding to the world. And with Matt's support in NBC, we're really excited to bring this to the market, bring it to anybody, any walk of life can come, from my students from UB, hi everybody, to anyone who just say, hey, I'm just an entrepreneur, I want to start something without hiring a team of programmers, to an attorney over there, who him and I have been working for the last 7 years, and we're really excited to see what's going to happen, what's going to be the outcome. So if you're ready to vibe with us, let's do it. Next on the call list,
Build City.
Tony. We first met on a call, and it's been a lot of talk, and we put this whole thing together, so I'm really excited that you guys are here from New York, so let's do it.
Thank you, Sam. I'm Tony. I represent Build City, and we've come here because of the gracious opportunity that we got from both Sam and Matt, who's the founder of VNMC. So our base is in New York City, and our goal really was to expose the idea of development quickly to everybody. And the reason being is that, you know, the internet accelerated the ability to develop, to create. It spread that ability to everyone, regardless of the location, regardless of any challenges that people have based on their geographical limitations. And what we realized within the past couple of months is that there's a great concept that's called vibe coding. And this gives people the ability to develop regardless of where they are at their skill set. That being said, we realize that this isn't perfect, right? Vibe coding is definitely not at a point where you have an idea, you start building, and it's done, right? That's not the case. it has been represented that way on Twitter and other channels, but we've seen the negatives of it as well. So we thought, okay, this can't just be given to people as a tool just off the bat with no guidance, right? The goal is to get to that point, but you definitely need the human impact, right? You need that element. And we're saying that we're here in Buffalo, a place that it's great as a community, as people who are willing to build, but just need someone to guide people into development. And we're formulating a structure where people can use these tools to vibe code, but in a way that's secure, in a way that represents the traditional way of development, but done in a sense that people can basically wear different hats, right? That being like an architect, that being an engineer, that being other aspects of development, but through the use of AI. And our goal for this week is we present different challenges that we have certain subject matter experts coming in to present. Within the 4 days, we're going to have people build out their ideas, use our framework, and then present them at the end. Right? The goal is to do it quickly, iterate fast, and get an idea from these subject matter experts of whether or not this is something that can solve whatever issues that you've identified. The beauty is that you don't have to spend months, right? Traditionally in development, we've spent months to even come up with the MVP, a proof of concept, and there ends up being nobody who needs to use whatever you make, right? Here we're saying the subject matter expert is here, they can give you feedback, they can say this solution is good or the solution is not, and you can go back to the drawing board and develop a couple more solutions until you get to a point where you're actually solving a problem, where users actually want to use it, and you can continue to develop it in the traditional way. So that's a general sense of what we're doing here. It's a seed, hopefully one of many, and we're planning to have this flourish in Buffalo. Thank you guys for coming, and I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
No introductions. Hi guys, I am Kit. I am a co-founder and head of strategy at Kansas Street. We are digital transformation firm based out of Buffalo. I started the idea of Kansas Street to really enable local communities and business owners and stakeholders to understand how they can leverage AI in their day-to-day use, whether it's using prompt engineering or asking their workflows questions, or whether it's better engaging with their clients and building a better funnel. And when I was first introduced to Build City, I thought the idea was excellent to really build proof of concepts, to quickly deploy them and see how they interact with potential users. I'm really excited to pitch my idea, reverse pitch my idea here, and work with the rest of you to really start this new chapter to enable Buffalo and its local community to leverage AI in better ways. Thanks.
Wonderful, Kit. Thank you very much.
Back to you, Mateus.
Wonderful. And we're streaming that for 500 people. Oops. So you might be asking, this is a vibe coding week. Maybe, have you heard about vibe coding before? Probably, right? Raise your hand if this is the first time for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's do a quick experiment here. Let me try something good. So this is today's presentation, vibe coding with balance. But before we dive in there, I want to introduce the subject of vibe coding. Let me see how these mics work. Okay. I'll leave this other mic with Alice. Are you on this? Then we'll ask some questions, and this mic can go around. So, the traditional way of making software, this thing that enables so many billion-dollar ideas out there, other Netflix, Amazon itself, all of the big empires in the current modern civilization started and ended with technology. And this whole industry is shifting because of one small revolution called transformers. The cars, no. Transformers, the models that enable LLMs to work. You don't need to worry about these technical details right now. What you need to worry is that what Rob had around is that word. It's what this means for the whole industry. In the past, when you had an idea, you thought of streaming movie online, and you're going to call it Netflix. You had to hire developers, you had to start a company, raise capital, do all of that again, right? Or at least outsource that to some development firms. Now it's shifted. This is one of many tools that are out there where I can build my wireless ideas in just a few minutes. And this is where this mic is much commonplace. Do you have any business idea? Or maybe what you share in mic around people with business idea, raise a hand if you have. You? What's your name? Sorry?
My name is Zach.
Zach, you just have the mic in your hand, so you are allowed to use an idea, sorry.
Well, one problem that I have in my life is that I get a lot of mail, I get a lot of emails, I get a lot of texts, and I have a lot of contacts, right?
Okay.
And I add people to my contacts and kind of forget about it. I know there's people that I need to check up on and stuff like that, but it's just a big backlog in my head that takes, a concerted effort to get through, just to catch up with, the people I meet.
Okay.
It's
So,
a business as usual. Yeah.
so you need an app to organize. This mic's not perfect. You need an app to organize your contacts, something like that, right?
It's sort of to do the thinking for me in that, so that I don't have to think about, all the people I met in the contact person.
Can track my contacts. Track. Anyone else has this kind of thing? Like raise your hand or something similar. You want to make it pink. Give me any kind of requirements here. You want to. Okay, make this mic go around. Let's make a very weird idea here. An app that can track my contacts. Contacts. And you take from here.
Yeah. One of the things I have issues with, whenever I meet people, I connect with them on LinkedIn, but the context of the meeting never really they charge you to kind of send a message. So there's no way to really add context to where you guys met or whatever. So I know that you do a great job.
So an app that is going to track my contacts and give context for the interactions. Anyone else would like to add something here? Let's make this app very weird.
Maybe after they track your contact, you might look to play a game of chess.
And then match makes
I was just going to say,
That's-
that's the same problem. When you meet people, you forget where you met them, so when you connect, you should kind of track that context of where you met them.
so okay. So and then match the best chess partners based on geographical location, maybe. Oh yeah?
When you meet them, like, you don't know how you find them, like, who introduces you, who gives you.
So it tracks contacts, who introduced you both, and give context from directions, and then match make us the best chess partners. Okay.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
I wanted in Chrome, like I wanted in black and white. I didn't want in color.
a Chrome extension.
Yeah.
It is a Chrome extension. Okay.
Oh no, I meant the color scheme is Chrome. Like,
Oh, Chrome
you
color.
want it in black and white or black heavy.
So make the colors shiny black.
In grayscale. High contrast.
That's a good one. So this is a requirement. This can be $1 billion business idea. And what is the traditional way? Have you ever commissioned software before with any company? Raise your hand. Usually, how do you?
We start with the designing,
Design, a theme,
adding, yeah, designing, figure out features and then start figure out what would be development architecture and how you want to deploy your application, CI/CD pipelines and everything. You have to take a lot of things.
yeah. And then you pay a lot of money, like thousands of dollars each time. How long usually it takes to make an MVP? 2 weeks, months, maybe, right?
Something like this would have taken 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks to have a real life. Yeah, probably. When it works, because sometimes you hire a project and it doesn't work. It's not like how you ask it, and then you go to the client. This is not what you want, right? So there is this whole cycle of reading software that has to be there for 2, 3 decades now. If you consider even before internet.
And this all when you're not considering project management and sprint cycles and
The whole paperwork that you have to do, yeah, different parts. If this goes inside a corporate pipeline, it could take months, like 6 months to have a project like chess master contacts in grayscale, thanks for the suggestion kit. And this can become a whole thing by itself, just for you to test an assumption that is going to solve the pain. Maybe it's not going to solve the pain. Maybe when you get there and test, oh, this is not what I wanted. I wanted this other thing here that's reasonable, you know? Usually, the amount of innovations that are killed or that are repressed by this whole cost of the software, we only got to see like the top 1% or the top 0.1% of innovations, like Uber, like Netflix, Amazon, I think that's on all pocket. But there are thousands of other ideas that get by because they are too long, because they require too many resources and all. So going back to the subject, what is vibe coding? This is a term that is used since a few months or so, 4 or 5 months, that explains how you would do
Coding with AI without actually using the lines of code.
And there is no human in the loop here. This is all using those so-called LLMs, generative pre-trained transformers, GPTs, to suggest the next text to put here in the form of code. And this is going to take a few minutes, which is really back and forth. And eventually, the AI, as dumb as it might be, as irrational as it might be, eventually it can do the job of the developer 9 times, 9 out of 10 times it can. And it can deliver a working app just from English. So this job of writing lines of code, writing Python, JavaScript and all, might be outdated. And maybe the job now is just explaining English, what you want to do.
And here's our website, Chess Contacts. This is a website, this is working. I can find my contacts here, Alex, Maria, James. I can do the matchmaking, find a partner, and then the style, and then find the chess partners. Here are the best matches.
This is not a perfect soccer. It was created on the fly here, based on those suggestions. Seems like magic. Nothing is hidden, nothing is hidden. Soccer. It's like exactly like we asked. Can you see the features?
So instead of waiting 4 or 6 weeks to see if this would work, I can go and test that with my client, with my requirement very quickly.
This is vibe coding. Is that clear? We have a whole playlist, like 20 hours of content about that. I guess what we have sent for you, if not, it's checking your send folder. This is what we presentation. About the
No,
raise your hand if you tried vibe coding before. Kalash, I know you tried. You want to hack it on it, right? So, does it work 100% of the time? Does it work half of the time? At least 10% of the time you can do it, right? For tasks, okay. That's the bar now. And it's increasing. 2 years ago, it was just auto-completion. Now it kind of can automate some tasks.
in the future, we don't know. So the path of vibe coding with balance. This is not such a beginner talk. It's more for intermediate if are used to vibe coding now. This is going to guide you how to vibe code with balance. Okay? So the first slide is why you understand by vibe coding. Now we all understand. Some people have vibe coded, some are getting introduced by this subject right now. And we have a video here. Let me see if I can play this music. There are 2 ways for you to vibe code. If you know what is vibe coding like with cursor now, this guy's doing like that, trying to take care of everything, putting context and putting all of the information there now. So he's very focused. And there is the other guy.
Make GTA 6. You will construct unit tests. With love. Where the times of decades all align the dots. Make them aligned. Sense to make it. Present to try it. And then I will serve page 3 every one show. More cars. More blue. Small violence. Did you bring our top license to come for the top? Make it to no way. Forward. Thousand 27 whole 1 Oh, please, 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 stop your life. Next time. I see I so cool. Make GTA 6.
Okay. Sorry for this 1 minute. I try to make a lot of bad jokes. So as you can see, we have 2 paths here. The very careful path of doing the ideation, describing the idea in the doc, researching, refining the LLM, writing a project requirement description, a product required description, doing your IDE setup, writing the rules, including the docs, the PDF, configure template, install the MCP servers, and then before you code, you create a work in progress pull request for your AI, and then you create a review task list for the AI, then you create a unit test, and then you start implementing the feature, and then you ask the AI, please fix that for 99 times. Have you been there? Raise your hand. I've been there a few times. So this is what we teach with those 20 hours of content, and usually it doesn't work that easily. That's like the first guy. I was stressed, like rage coding, not vibe coding. And the second, that you just code, you don't know what's get, you just ask it to make this app fast, try to deploy to Apple Store, and then it doesn't work. and then you fix all the errors 99 times, and then you post it on socials. I tried to write the code, but it didn't work. What is crucial?
This is the second path. No? Which is best? Which is the best one? No, none of these are the best one. Both doesn't work. So vibe coding is like that right now. It is this concept that is out there. And there are a lot of YouTubers speaking about that, a lot of people in LinkedIn speaking about that. And I'm not here to say that it doesn't work. So there are a lot of YouTubers saying that this
Work and LinkedIn influencers and all. The thing is that you should know what vibe coding is capable nowadays, what are those AIs capable to do, and what they are not capable to do.
Okay? So that is the easy way to fail in the left, and the hard way to fail in the right. And I want to avoid you to fall into those two traps.
Too simplistic or too overcomplicated. Maybe one day we can just go to the AI and just ask something, the AI is going to figure everything. For now, it's still more difficult. Okay? Okay, so what should we do? So we can balance this amount of time and money that you put in your vibe coding efforts, because you can pay for larger models, you can work better like Cloud 4, you just release it. So you can have far better results, but also when you spend like $200 per hour in these AI models, maybe it's just better to pay. So there are situations that only investing human time and attention, you can have real progress with a good efficiency. So important truths for now. The LLMs can't reason. Okay? They are like stochastic parrots. Have you heard about this term? Stochastic, it means like guesswork. Parrots, because they seem to speak like humans. When we speak to ChatGPT, it seems like humans, but ours actually is just outputting random words. There's a paper called The Illusion of Thinking. There's a paper called The Illusion of Thinking. There's another paper called The Illusion of Thinking. So this is a big debate right now. But as we can get out of the LLMs, they can't reason. So we will still need to have a human in the loop in most of these situations. Getting to know when is very important. You still need some good understanding of software architecture for it to make it app work fully, okay, for it to have a fully working app, as Tony was saying. But at least for you to prototype things quickly, you can. And this is the balance that I want to give you, I want to guide you in this week. So the real power of vibe coding is to shorten the development cycle from idea to prototype. That can be done real quick. Instead of days in that phase, or weeks, you're going to do that in a few hours, maybe even minutes. You test something real quick. Is that what you want? Is this how you want it to work? It becomes like your design. It becomes almost like a thing, the drawing. But then you can test things working in practice and see if that's the direction you want for your product. So if you are a good developer already, if you know Python, Java, and all of that, you can also use the AI to automate some of those grinds with repetitive tests, like writing the tests, documentation. You can automate a lot of this, like stone breaking work, and focus exactly on the architecture or the main implementation that you want to do. And finding the balance is very important. We suggest a path of convergence for you to be in the middle. If you follow either of too much complexity, you are wasting time. And if you put too less effort, too less knowledge or guidance, you might be in big trouble for security, or I'm going to show what can happen. So each coding session would yield enough usable output to justify the time and the credits that we spend in that session. There is a danger, okay? This is what I want to prevent you from falling this trap. The journey of learning vibe coding can give you superpowers.
And this is the curve of the Dunning curve effect. Have you heard about that? In the beginning, you don't know how much to know. So after a week of vibe coding, you can feel like you have superpowers. And then you are in the peak of ignorance. At this point, it's common for you to forget that you don't know a lot of things, and launch your app, start making money with it, and then have any problems with it. I suggest you stay to it for a month until you get future enough to know how much you know about the subject. And then after a few months, you can get that confidence gap solved and become an expert. So you know what you don't know, and you know what you can do with these tools, okay? What can happen? The UI might look good, but the code behind it could be all messed up. The app might work partially, but then the crucial parts are missing. The app works well from the user perspective, but then there are several vulnerabilities that are okay to have in a prototype, but not okay to have in a full product. So if it works, we shouldn't touch it, right? So yeah, what can happen? For example, this guy Leo, he got very famous last year. He built this first app and with Cursor, and it was like AI is no longer an assistant, it's also a computer. Now you can continue to learn about it or something. Yes, people pay for my app. It was like all Yuri's thinking that I'll figure it out. And if it was prototyping, that would be good. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, you should prototype. The problem is that when you go too far without knowing about software architecture, at least nowadays, at least on July of 2025, this is still a problem. Because then they start complaining, guys, I'm under attack. Ever since I started to share how I did my app, people started to abuse my backend. They started doing crazy stuff in my database, and I'm not technical, I don't know how to fix that, and eventually, unfortunately, he shut down his app. So a lot of money, time wasted, client data exposed, data breaches, and all sorts of things. I don't want to scare you. I just want to show that there is over-engineering and there is under-engineering. We should know to find this balance to do the deal in order to buy the hosting correctly. I want to see everyone on Friday with a working app, with a working version of an app that is good for your client, but also strong enough, well built enough to withstand, to allow you to have revenue. And over-engineering, of course, is bad too. I've done that a lot of times. Spend 6 months building my app, and it's perfect. It has microservices, it has Kubernetes, it is scalable, auto-scaling, and then I test it for 3 more months, and then I have 0 users. And then for more 6 months, 0 users again. This is over-engineering. Has cost me like $50,000 more already in the company. Who can relate? A few people relate. It happens. A few people. So both paths are wrong. We should be in the middle. We should be something like that. As we have a user growth, we should grow in complexity, technical complexity. If we do too much technical complexity in the beginning, we are over-engineering. You're like, what I did in the past was wrong. And if we have too much growth without investing in technical complexity, we are like Leo. We have more clients than what the backend can handle. So having this path in the middle is tricky. And this is where I see most people falling behind. I have a community of 500 or so of outdoors, and some of them are above this curve, some of them are below this curve. Staying in the green area is the best way for you to have sustainable growth. How to get that balance is different. So I would suggest 3 steps for us to start here. Not every prompt should be perfect, but at least you should be 51% sure that you are going to desired outcome every time that you do a prompt. Otherwise, you're spending too much time in the wrong direction. How to do that? Break it down. Is the biggest realization of engineering. How do you build a ship? A whole ship? You know, San Francisco, right?
You start like an elephant. The only way to build a ship is the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're doing shit, you speak of a project. Build it all. And then you build that little component that is going to be controlling the flow of things that you need. All of this is not the exception good. How to validate all your app? Start with the first step. Step 0. Validate the pain or something. And this is why I invited 6, maybe even 10 industry experts to give you very curated, validated pains. This is one of the great things that we and the CPG for us is to get the pain very well described, validated, and rounded up, and how do I say, prepared for us to start working on it. So validating the pain is a step 0. It's what we're going to do today. All the speakers are going to be giving you insights about pains in the market, and we're going to write a paper. Step 0. If you fail in step 0, every head might fail as well. It's the most important step. How to validate the pain? You're going to interview people, and you're going to research the problem. Research using AI with ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google. The quality of the research is not that important. The important is that you do this step well. And I would start with a pain, the green path, best path. A pain that someone has at work, or maybe at the private life. Maybe your pain that you have in the work. This is the best way, the green path. Or you can also clone something, some other platform and do a different pricing, a new use case, make it open source or something like that. The traditional path that I see people taking, you have an idea and then you build the technology and the application. This is the worst path that you can do, okay? Because then you are building a solution looking for a problem. Then there is no guarantee that you are going to have success, okay? So pay attention to this slide, the green path and the white path. And what you should have as outcome in the step 0, you should define your idea in a single sentence. My app, this is offering this to help this audience to solve this problem with a single source. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
This step 0 is good. For example, if we get that done for tomorrow morning is great. Should have that defined, okay? The second step, then you should validate your idea. With an app? No. With a landing page. Why to build an app if you didn't validate your idea yet? So you should test your assumption against an amount of people, and you can do that with a simple landing page. With the here section, social proof, state the problem, the solution that you're thinking, some questions and some CTAs. That should be enough. Don't waste days on that. It should be ready by tomorrow at noon. You should get 10 users, 100 users, 5 users to interact with your CTA, your call to action. Can be something like waitlist, Google form, something like that, okay? Let's say it should be done by Tuesday, 2 p.m. Sounds good? Next step, then you build a prototype. A minimally working prototype for showcasing your proposal solution. We can go back at this tomorrow. This should be some solution at the end. That is the waterfall style, that you build a piece at a time. There is the agile style, where you work on a product one step at a time. And there is the AI. Or the vibe coding that's like that.
This is one of the slides that I was thinking. You agree with that?
You're going to experience that this week. The final step would be to get like 10, 15 users to use a prototype, and then you know if you have your ideal consumer persona there, to know if your proposed solution could work or not. And then the final step, by Friday, we should have an MVP, a minimum viable product that should solve a problem in a viable way. Should be minimum, the last feature that are done, put 2 features, don't put 3 features, one feature is good, should be something that the consumer can touch and feel and should be flyable. It cannot be a service, it needs to be a product. That's the idea. And then you put 10, 50, maybe 100 users paying for that. Maybe at the end of the week, you are making thousands of dollars of revenue. Maybe $10 of revenue. Sounds good? That's it. We have a goal now. This is what we're going to do this week. You should test your product market fit, see if you have that or not. And after you do, then you can iterate back and forth. Okay. This presentation is going to be available for you if you want to check those steps later. What should I do after I have my MVP? That's not the focus. But this is the idea. What are we going to vibe code today? We're going to start with a series of presentations, and we're going to collect all of that here in video. We are streaming here. We are collecting the stream that we're having from remote presenters too. We are going to have this repository from VibeSpace Season 0. You're all going to have access to that. We're going to send the link for email, and we're going to listen to those pitches. I suggest that you write all of that down, okay? I don't know if you can release this video today, maybe tomorrow. We're supposed to be recording here, but I suggest that you write down all of those pitches. What are the best ideas? What are the ideas that are more close to you? And at the Friday, at the last day, you're going to come here to this stage, and you're going to present for us. This is the demo day on Friday, starting at 2 p.m. I'm going to come here and pitch, and we're going to have a huge selection of good judges. Inviting people from IBM, from Cisco, from NVIDIA, maybe even Google, to be judging you virtually, and giving feedback for your project. Okay? I cannot guarantee next steps, but only good things can come out of it. So pay a lot of attention for the pain points that we're going to present today, and this can become the starting point, the building blocks for your next startup. Okay.
Fantastic job for our instructor and task. Give a big round of applause. He's so excited. He's got a lot of passion. But we want to start because we have some hard stops. But then we're going to bring it back into this, right? But right now, we wouldn't mind having Joe Trapp come up to the. I know Joe is a practicing attorney in Buffalo, and there's a lot of things locally. Joe also is single man.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Thanks.
Joe, do you have something to present in the screen, or only you're talking?
No, I can talk, but I can pull it up. That's fine.
Yeah, but he's going to talk through his pitch, and with that, it basically is reverse pitch. But Joe, thanks for coming tonight, and love to see how they can help.
Thank you, Sam. So, is this double hot?
Yeah,
No, okay.
very
No, it should be okay. Well, everyone, first of all, thanks so much, and thank you for having me. I think I'll start the story this way. Most of you are familiar with Nextdoor, where community groups, if you join a neighborhood, you can log on to Nextdoor and verify you live in the neighborhood, and you can figure out what's going on. That was built in an environment for suburbs where there are no existing community structures, no block club, community associations, no business districts, things like that. Most cities, like New York City, Buffalo, work on a more advanced standard. They have organized, common interest communities. The problem is that the more technological we become, and the longer our hours at work become, the less people have been able to participate in these common interest communities. You notice the fall off of a variety of similar social groups, right? And so, unlike Angry Mini Club, it is very important that these common interest communities grow and thrive and keep people engaged, because they're designed to protect the single most valuable thing that the average American has. That's their primary residence. It's the thing that represents the core of everyone's life. And even if you are not a homeowner and you are a renter, they are the groups that protect
the safety and well-being of your neighborhoods. As I'm sure you guys have seen outside this weekend, I counted 4 different ambulances dealing with individuals with overdose on the sidewalk. You want to walk your dog down the street, there are needles. You want to let your daughter go out or your child go out and play, we've got people chased down the street by folks in crisis. And to the point is that these groups are no less important, but it's been increasingly difficult for people who are working with 3 different jobs. We're no longer one person working. So this is where technology can come in. This is where we need to find a way to improve upon what's called the next door model, for lack of a better term, to allow these community groups to find out who's in their neighborhood, reach them, enroll them, and engage them in a more sophisticated system where membership dues can be collected. I was, for example, today representing the Allentown Association, the neighborhood just to the west of here, in court, right? The next door people aren't going to court, but I was just there on behalf of the community association, which is a corporation, had the legal authority to hire me to go to court and say, hey, this guy has had vacant houses in some of our best neighborhoods for decades. We want this handled and dealt with. They have that power far beyond what next door currently allows. And so my suggestion for you coders is that there is an opportunity with a good UI to go beyond these simple community group websites saying, hey, this is what's going on, to do broader, matched and organized. So when you move from one neighborhood, like I moved 6 blocks down, but I technically changed neighborhood, so I had to re-register and redo everything. And so what you're able to do is you're able to engage in a citywide system where all of your neighborhood associations and community groups are registered on it. Your ability to pay your dues, figure out what's going on, and participate is at a higher level than what's allowed on Nextdoor. And it'll help make your cities better. For those of you who live in New York City has tried this in one way, from a top-down standpoint, by having a specific office, run by which Jamane Williams is now in, called the Office of the Public Advocate. Buffalo is the second largest city. We do not have that. And I'm not familiar with any other city in the state of New York that has a similar office. And so I suggest to you that there's an opportunity to do a grassroots, bottom-up level that says, hey, we can give the same level of sophistication to these common interest communities, community associations, and I'll go through the structure in a second so you guys can understand. Block clubs, community associations, and the like, so that as people move through the neighborhoods, they can seamlessly participate and ensure that their interests are protected. Now, yes, I'm a municipal lawyer. I represent a variety of governments, but in the communities, we have a charity called Third Estate Ventures, and this is what we do our community work through. In our view at Third Estate, you have community associations at the top. They represent a whole kind of district. Under them, which can be like the Allentown neighborhood, the Elmwood Village, huge swaths of land, 10, 20,000 people, all right? Then you have your block clubs under it. They meet less frequently, they're less organized. It's generally a couple blocks of the street, right? If it's a very long street, you might have 4 different block clubs on that same street dealing with different issues. They're under the association. And then under them, you have kind of the people who actually do the work, because let's be honest, when there's a group of people, there's only a couple people who are actually doing all the work for the group. I think you guys all know that from school, right? So we kind of categorize them as 2 things. We say there are watchers, which are the people who know what's going on in the neighborhood, but they don't necessarily want to deal with playing nice with their neighbors. Like, this is a problem, I'll report the problem to you, I don't want to hear about this again, go fix it. The second kind of person is what we call ambassadors. They will work with the other block clubs to escalate things to the They're like project leads, right? We'll escalate things to the community group level. If they're at the community group level or community association level, we'll work between community associations to share the cost of bringing the problem. The Allentown example I just gave, the person had a property in another neighborhood, so the West Village, the historic West Village Block Club also submitted papers together with this group. So the point is that it is almost impossible without someone like me, and there aren't many of us, to organize these groups, to bring them together so that they can achieve the stabilization of their neighborhoods. You don't have the free time that people used to have when they had more people at home. That is where the technology can step in to automate a variety of processes, to help people self-organize and make them aware what the problems are and where things are in the process of being addressed, so that there's less repetitive work. Does all of that make sense so far? Now, the hard part is, you gotta get the UI right, because if people can't use it, it's not worth it. So I'll show you somewhere we started. And it's not something we use very publicly, so it's these community groups. Don't take this as an official endorsement of the community groups. This is simply for demonstration purposes only. So we also have a show community. We have two speakers here. There we go. Again, this is password. Thank good, Sam. Yeah. It'd be help if I clicked on it. All right. No, I don't want to save it. No, go away. Okay. Again, this is something with UB students we did very simple. It's designed to, it looks perfectly fine on mobile. You've got a variety of, you're opposite what I am, you have a variety of community groups down here. Again, this is not endorsed by any community groups. This is for discussion purposes only. You can report issues, you can join groups, you can donate land if you have one. Say you're, regrettably, sometimes family members die, they have land, they now live in a different city and they don't know what to do with it. Well, now we have an outlet of, hey, you can give it to the community association so to stabilize it. You can register with your association, and for things that are in court, you can do the form. So let me just do report issue. So I just opened a new tab to make it easier. From our standpoint at Third Estate, this actually feeds directly into our Salesforce, and all of our automations are through there. That works well for a sophisticated organization like us, but if you want to scale this across other communities, they're not going to be able to run a high-level Salesforce backend. It's just not going to happen. So the backend, the ability to relate and connect data is rather difficult as well. But name, the group you're reporting for, the issue, all of that's here. It's simple, and it's not the prettiest, but it functions, right? And then for here, we'll use Allentown as an example. So you can read about all the different organizations, and then there's normally a variety of links here. But when you want to go to that specific organization's content, you can click, and it'll take you to what all these groups have as their standard website. So we have it preloaded to go to the donation page, but you can see it's a website like this. Part of the reason why this is a problem, Buffalo's the second largest city in the state. There are about 5 common interest communities in the city of Buffalo that can afford to hire a lawyer. That's it, right? And even then, economically, and again, they're public entities, so their financials are all information. You can look at the IRS 990s and look at that for yourself. It's a lawyer's expensive. It's a strain on them. So the more that can happen at the community level, to raise funds, to raise awareness, to bring it together in grassroots movements, the better it is, the less people are going to need. The more you can do, the more better work that can be done. Does all of that make sense? Okay. Oh yes, go ahead. I'm a little curious. How would your idea prevent the need for lawyers all about the class? Sure. So the short version, there are 40 states that use the International Internet
there's an international code council, lawyers are lazy like anyone else. 40 states use a model property maintenance code, meaning how well the Green Neighborhood should work and function, right? New York is one of those states. It's called the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention Building Code, property maintenance code is included in it. I'll call it the Uniform Code, that's what we use now. Since 1984, every municipality in the state of New York, except the city of New York, because the city of New York had their own township code, right? Everyone else is required to follow that. But the problem is, by the time the government can be everywhere all at once, they're doing their best. There's normally departments of 1 or 2 code enforcement officers, and they just can't, they don't have eyes everywhere. So the faster that the community can bring to the attention of those whose responsibility it is to maintain our social contract, the less severe of the interventions needed. For example, you have a vacant house. The houses that we're dealing with now require significant legal intervention because they're about to collapse. It is alleged they're about to collapse. Sorry, you think about that. I am not an engineer, so I think what I say about structural integrity of things. If the government's notified, hey, Grandma Jane passed away, nobody knows where her kids are, this house is now vacant, we should really do something about it. That faster intervention of bringing things to the consciousness and bringing that shared knowledge together makes a huge, huge difference. It lowers the cost for everyone. Especially if you can work with the government to lower the cost and more willing to do something, because they know that it's a snowball as well. They don't want to deal with it once they're ready. But people generally come to that when it's such a big problem that it costs a lot of money to deal with it. And they have a limited budget just like everyone else. None of us want to pay taxes. And if we don't want to pay taxes, which is fine, I don't want to pay more taxes like half a. If we don't want to pay more taxes, then we only have so many issues we can deal with. And so that's why it's important to, we're the last person you want to talk to. If you can get there before us and work things out, it's like a chemical, it's easy and cheap. You don't need the hammers. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? We got one more question.
So this kind of seems like a coordination problem to extent.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the question you're asking is coordination problem? Absolutely.
So I'm just curious, like, did something like Facebook groups something that until like Facebook's not following this, but
I would say, and I don't have access to it because I'm not a special person, but a good example in Buffalo would be Friends of Big Buffalo, which is a very prominent neighborhood in Buffalo, historic, beautiful homes, and they use that exact Facebook model. What I'd say is it's great like next door for sharing ideas. It's very, very bad for let's start raising funds with each other. Let's make sure we join the association. Let's make sure all of our docs are in order. Let's make sure that our conversations are recorded and preserved.
so something like interoperability. Like you can connect with people, you can figure out that this is a problem, but you cannot do anything beyond that.
Correct. And that's where I believe the application should be able to take the next step, where, and again, groups like Salesforce, have these things built into it. But it takes a very sophisticated entity to be able to use Salesforce and roll it out. And frankly, none of these groups, if we were to use anything beyond that to organize, none of them can afford these software costs. Is that all right? So, check it out. Yeah, okay, sorry, I've got, I have to go to a community meeting if the other buses.
Let's hear it for Joe Stroud. Joe, thanks so much for your time. Joe will be available all week. Joe will be available all week to help with use case, understanding more, and Joe, I'm just supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, everybody.
All right, next up we have James Raynor. He's first of all, he's got a lot of things going on. He and I have been working together, collaborating for a while. He's retired Air Force colonel, and he's been around the world. Super intelligent guy, been around, and just has a world of knowledge. With that, Mr. Radar, here you go. What else you have?
No, it's all right.
Test. Thanks, Sam, for your time. Those who heard me speak before, I apologize. I'm really working in what I would say is the collision of AI, pharma, and some of the other technology. There's some quick look at it on Amazon. I'm interested in this collision. It is the intersection of quantum AI and blockchain. Not many people have called it, so you may be but really, I'm intrigued by the whole lot of AI.
When I think about AI today, I think AI understands data today. If we move to a Vibe AI, it'll begin to understand us. Because without looking, or by looking at numbers, you miss nuance, you miss cultural experience, you miss everything that is in language. Code is language, but it needs the nuance of the human experience in order to move beyond where we are today. And that's an area that's very interesting to me. I've got some notes on my phone and I typed up what you guys were speaking. So give me a second here. Maybe it'll open up. So really what I wanted to talk about today was, it's that intersection of the idea and the speed. And the idea matters, the nuance of the idea matters. Moving to a bio-neuro type of network where we can extend our thought beyond our skull matters. And that's the direction we're headed in with these technologies. So what I wanted to kind of hit home on was quantum breaks the limits of the classical AI, because I mentioned before speed. But beyond speed, it's multiple states. Quantum itself, you can be, it's not binary, it's not 1, 0. It's, you can be a 1, a 0, you can be 1 and 0, or you could be anything other than that. So it enables you to look and consider multiple states at the same time. Together, when we think of what quantum is going to enable with AI, it is going to move us in the direction, like I said before, where the human brain then becomes an extension of the machine. And as I mentioned before, thought will move from humans to machines and machines to human. Why is that possible? Quantum, just in layman's terms, is 1 million times faster than what we see today. What does that mean? Well, if you drive a mile, the time it took you to do that, I go 1 million miles. You can see where there's a huge difference. But quantum will also look at human emotions in superpositions. That would be the quantum state of human emotions. They aren't binary, they're fluid. They're probabilistic states that mirror this complexity. So think about that. We can consider multiple states at the same time. Today, computing is very linear. We can't consider multiple states, at the same time instantaneously. And it allows us to be creative because, again, we can do multiple iterations, millions of iterations at a time that we can do hundreds of iterations in today's compute power. This shift from reactive AI to anticipatory AI, machines don't just compute, but they feel the environment. So what does that mean in terms of vibe? I'll go back to what you guys were talking about before. The language is going to matter. So when you sit down and you're going to spell out or call out what the capabilities are that you're trying to build for, what you're trying to, we'll use the example of the chess connect, what you're trying to connect, it's going to matter that you say, I want to have a chess match with a grandmaster. Now, the term grandmaster is defined. There's a definition of that. But now, let's say in your culture, you say, I want to have a chess match. Now I want to play somebody who's really good. Well, what is really good? Right? What's the nuance there? What's the language? What's your cultural difference? Really good in America might be something totally different than really good in Pakistan or somewhere else. And it is. So by being able to take that nuance, take that language, and fold that into the code that you're writing, you have, again, moved into this state where you're no longer linear. You're able to look at that neurological, biological, cultural link and code for it. And that doesn't exist today. It exists today, but it exists in the form of bias. So, and it exists in the form of hallucination. So AI, LLMs, they have bias. Why do they have bias? Because we as humans have bias. You can say I'm not biased, but you are. And you don't know you're biased even when you're trying not to be. Hallucinations. You put things into AI today, and it tries to be predictive, but really what it ends up doing is it hallucinates. And hallucinations are good. What's good is fact-based AI. So fact-based AI, what does that mean? If I were to ask you, is it warm in here? You'd say, okay, maybe. But there's a bias. So maybe you're used to being somewhere that's cold. But if I walk in and I look at the thermostat and it says it's 75 degrees, that's fact-based. There's no argument about it, all right? There could be maybe mechanical bias, but we'll just say we have mercury in an old-fashioned thermostat. There's very little bias that can be in it. It's 75 degrees. If I ask you what temperature it is, now when you say, well, it's warm, what are you going to say? Are you going to say it's 75? Likely not. You're going to say, well, it's warm in here, it's cold. So you don't have a fact base, you have a bias base. And then I ask you, hey, what's it going to be like after this event's over, we all leave the room? Is it going to be warmer or cold? And if you ask the AI that, it will, again, try to predict what it's going to be, but it doesn't know if I've turned the air conditioner off, it doesn't know if I've opened the blinds or whatnot. So it's going to hallucinate. And in that hallucination, it's going to say, well, it's going to be warmer. Or it could say it's going to be colder because there'll be fewer people in here heating up the room. So it doesn't really understand what that nuance is. It injects bias, and because it tries to be predictive, and it's not skilled to be predictive, it then injects hallucination. So what does all that mean? All that means is the direction that we're going now is bringing AI closer to who we are and further away from just looking at data. Looking at data is something that LLMs are very good at. Predicting the next word in a sentence is something that LLMs are good at. But if they're trained, they can become very good at it, right? So I go in and I can put the words I commonly use and words I don't use in my ChatGPT, if we're using ChatGPT. I can tell that I don't use EM dashes, right? It seems to have a fixation with EM dashes, right? I might say that I don't use complex sentences and contractions when I write, but it'll then get to know who I am. But if I speak to it, I don't have to do that because it'll then know what my diction is, it'll know what my vocabulary is, it'll know what my emotion is, it'll then be able to divine that, hey, I'm pissed off, or hey, I'm happy, or whatever. So that's a whole bunch of crazy, but like I said, we're coming to this intersection of quantum, AI, and a couple of these technologies. Currently, I have a product out called Q-Defense. It's your defense against quantum attacks, and it serves as an AI layer, as a trust layer for AI applications. And what it does is it makes sure that the data you're getting is authentic, it provides provenance. If somebody tampers with the data, it quarantines it so that you can't consume the data and taint your AI. And then finally, we use post-quantum cryptography. So if you think of FIPS 203, 204, is what we're using for the encryption. That's going to be important whether we're doing Vibe AI or whether we're doing traditional LLMs that we're doing today, is understanding the authenticity of the data will matter. Any questions on that part? I'm really nervous that you had your phone up over here just reading the
Recording. We have a question.
Questions? From Jim?
It's a new concept. This is, vibe coding, quantum. Yeah, this is all new stuff. We didn't show them some of the old, but it's definitely we want Jim was great to discuss. Where we're heading, right? It's a heading that we're into, right? So how are we going to prepare for it?
Well, I'll go back to, as I mentioned before, I think the best way to prepare for it is to recognize that we inject bias, we are human, which means we're nuanced, and we have to get to systems that understand the nuance of humans and eliminate the bias in humans. And the reason to get there is so they can better serve humans. They'll interact with us. Remember, there's going to be a human-machine interaction that's going to take place. We're speaking to a company on Friday. They're doing what they'll call the back end of AI. So fact-based, looking at being able to interact through neurons with their AI systems that they're building. Really, really interesting stuff when you think about it. But all this stuff's coming together. And it's all coming together. And I put together thoughts of this call Friday. We are entering the next age of enlightenment. Okay? There's been 6 ages of computers, right? Starting all the way back when we had the analog computers all the way we're up to now with the LLM models and stuff. This is the 6th. But beyond that, we've had periods of enlightenment. The last period of enlightenment is really back when we were able to put together the printing machine and able to have social interaction with people and share something that's on the page in mass, create lives. This period of enlightenment is the result of quantum and AI, and being able to change what our conscious and subconscious interaction is with machines via AI agents or via some sort of neuron hooked up a set of glasses that allows you to communicate into the microchips from the brain, which is your brain's quantum computer. But that stuff's happening. It's not science fiction. People are doing that today, or at least laying the groundwork to do that today, foundationally. So we're living in an exciting time. The only problem we have is I'm 60 years old. I want to be around when this manifests itself.
Are you ready to go next? Are you ready to go next?
Yeah,
Let's do 15 minutes, 10 for your presentation, 5 for Q&A. Is that good?
Blockchain security.
It may go a little bit.
It's my part.
Yeah, because we are running this.
Once quantum computers are actual reality and coupling that with AI, how safe is the blockchain actually? What did that add to, like, security issues with encryption?
So, couple things. We developed our solution for the US DoD. So we have some pretty good questions going on.
Running late.
I was speaking with an gentleman this weekend. He is the NIST chairman for the Blockchain Standards Committee, which is brand new, just started last week, stood up. And we had a conversation about how safe is your crypto, because that's what people want to know. How safe is my Bitcoin? So blockchain in and of itself is not going to be something that is going to prevent AI and quantum, because as I mentioned before, because of multiple states, compute power is going to be able to break what's commonly used as AES 256 or XA 256. And the Chinese have already broken RS, not 256, but RS50. But they're on a path to be able to break RS-256. And then there's this thing called Mosca's theorem. And Mosca's theorem says if you have something that's going to be relevant, so if it's intellectual property or data that's going to be relevant, and you pick the time frame, but the time frame is when Q-day happens. Q-day happens when you have quantum relevant computing, so that you can do things like break encryption. So let's say it's 10 years off. So if you have information, if you're going to hold a coin, that's going to, you're going to hold for the next 10 years, then all of a sudden you need to be concerned about it, right? So Mosca's theorem is that time window divided by the amount of time it takes you to implement a new type of security, encryption, which for big companies is a long time. So all of a sudden you realize that things I hold today, whether I'm a company or a person, should be being encoded in PQC. Because people are going to install hard stuff in their players, so they're stealing that piece, except for that stolen last year. And what are they doing with that? They're keeping it, and when they have to source it. But when I go and talk to companies, they say, how much of your IP is getting exfiltrated from your company? They'll say nothing. But you don't have to look at the J7, the J20, and compare them to the F-35, F-22 that the Chinese are building, that we built, the J20s the Chinese are building, and realize a lot of the IP that's on those airplanes has been exfiltrated out. So when I speak to someone and say, hey, how much of your guys been exfiltrated? They say, nothing. I said, well, what tool do you have in your company that tells you, that alerts you that you guys are exfiltrated? And they'll say, well, we have a check. Like take 20 elements of code, check something, I put 20 nefarious elements in there. As long as the process is everything, you look at it, go, well, nothing's changed, right? But everything has changed. You just don't know. So it's kind of like, and this is a bad analogy, but it works. It's kind of like cancer. So until you have a test that says you have cancer, you don't believe you have cancer. So to answer your question, it's not going to change. The encryption is going to change. If you look at blockchains like, use Cardano or use Algorand, they're already using post-quantum encryption in their keys, and they're doing some other things that allow them to be what I'll call quantum resistant, quantum safe, quantum resistant. That will continue. And when we had the first quantum computers online, although you could go on IBM right now and use Congo, which is 150 qubits, that's out, I'm sorry, 1,050 qubits, that's out right now. You could go on IBM and use quantum computing. But the tools aren't yet cryptographically to be able to break the code yet, but they will soon. So my answer is take it off. If you've got it in storage somewhere, if you're in Coinbase or somewhere, take it out and encrypt it. Keep it on your wall.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Congratulations, Jim. Thank you for coming.
Fantastic, appreciate it. And with that, I want to be able to say thanks and maybe do an intro for that.
I'll show both. Yes.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate your awesome. So give the mic. Are you ready to answer?
Yeah.
Ready to answer?
Yeah.
Test.
It's
It's on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Honored to be here with all my friends from Buffalo. Today I'd like to discuss or present my special topic called P2Pay, which is a product we are building, and it has got application in healthcare in USA. Before I go further, I wanted to ask you this question, that what do you really want? Do you want health care or we want health insurance? And there is a fundamental difference between health insurance and health care, even though people may think that once you have health insurance, you will have health care. That is not correct, right? So, and I'm going to discuss with my personal experience what is healthcare is really. So we know that today we talked about AI and also quantum computing. These are fantastic technological innovation for which I'm also be part of. But one thing that I wanted to share with you, my friends, that technology does not solve any problem. The problem is solved by human being. We, the people, can solve the problem. So going back, I just wanted to share some incident in my life. This picture, which was taken in 1964, was taken in a part of India. And this picture, we see that myself as a young boy of probably 6, 7 years old, and my mother's family. The question is why I'm sharing this picture in the context of healthcare. The reason is that my family went to that place in Rajgir in India, where they have a very good weather and hot water or hot spring. And my grandfather, my mother's father, was taken there because he was suffering from rheumatic pain. So in the concept of health care, the whole family was part of his treatment. Grandchildren, daughters, son-in-laws, everybody was there. There is no nurse, there is no Tylenol, there's nothing. and naturopathy, right? Now I'll give you and come back, and I just wanted to let you know that my mother is there. The lady pointed out, and she was in her mid-30s at the time. Now fast forward. What is the problem that we have today in USA? In healthcare, the major problem is that we have got almost 10% of the population, 30 million, they do not have any commercial or government-funded health insurance. And probably in the near future, that number will be added by another 12 million. Now, the question is that even though they do not have health insurance, they get sick and they come to the point when they ended up in the emergency room, and the cost of emergency room is much higher than seeing a primary care doctor. The whole thing, a tremendous amount of burden to the economic and system of our country. Going back to the gentleman who was talking about Buffalo, the city of Buffalo. The city of Buffalo, the New York State has got 1 million PWI, patients without insurance, and Buffalo is probably at least 30 to 40% of 1 million is here, at least in near greater Buffalo. So we have a serious problem. Now, I'm not just going to talk about the problem. I'm going to talk about the solution, that how AI could be a part of the solution, and we should be looking into how, as a human being, we can apply it. I do not want to go to the details of the chart. Only thing that it shows here that according to the CMS, which is the federal agency keeping track of the number of population and the people who come to the emergency room, almost 30 to 40% people who come to the emergency room, they do not have any kind of healthcare insurance. And because of that, that cost has to bear by the other population of the country. Okay. So what we have done in last few years since 2019, ML Bose Foundation, which is health and AGR Health combined together, we have created a platform called P2Pay, which is a peer-to-peer platform, which will allow anybody to participate in a healthcare by sharing the cost. That is a very simple statement for the complex problem. Going fast, I just wanted to pictorially describe the two different models. On the left-hand side, we see the centralized insurance model that we currently have, where the insurance company sits in the middle between the provider, the healthcare provider, and the patients. On the right side, we have the distributed payment system where there is no need for insurance carrier, where people, the patients, they can pay directly to the healthcare provider. Now, the complexity of this problem is not solved by pure diagram, but I've been very blessed to work on this project as my thesis at the Cornell University, and it has been presented in a technical paper which is available if needed for your reference. The difference between the two models is the following. The insurance model, it costs about 20% of the cost of the collected revenue. Say, for example, if we collect $100 million, out of $100 million premium, $20 million will be used as the overhead and profit for the insurance. Whereas on the right-hand side, in the P2P, the cost of running that we are estimated to be 4 to 5%. So basically, we can save almost 15 to 16% of the cost. Now, of course, P2P cannot stay by itself. So in this diagram, I have proposed a model where this P2P system could be integrated with the other healthcare system. And also you can see that we can go details if needed for the coder to understand the different roles that will be played by different individuals such as primary care provider, PCP, PWI, which is the patients without insurance, and also the donor who can also actively work. Now this will be the one side of the P2P platform. On the other side will be the traditional ER management, emergency room, and the pharmacy management, as well as the service provider. So this is a picture, the architectural picture that I would like to use to give you an idea how it is going to work. On the left-hand side, we see that there is a couple. These are the represents the PWI, the patients without insurance. And on the right-hand side, we see the doctor's office, which are connected through the traditional banking system. Now, if today this PWI, if they get sick, there is no way. They cannot go. If they can go to urgent care, it will be very expensive, $170, $160, or $150, something like that, right? So in a P2P model, what you're going to do is that if he has got a reason to go, he'll register with AGR Health and say that he wants to see the doctor, and it will be submit a request to the system, and we'll see that how much is if the PCP requests $100, then we know that he has got only say $10. So there is a $90 deficit, and this pairing member engine, the P2P, will be finding out a partner from where he can get this $90, and we'll match it, and we'll put it in a smart card, and we'll send him information, and so that he can go to the primary care doctor and see him. Once the primary care doctor will say, yes, I have seen him, and he confirms, then this $100 will be released to the primary care doctor's office, back to the bank, right? Now, for the lack of time, I'm just going to go very fast for the next few. And if you are interested, please come back to me and I'll be happy to share. But what I wanted to show you, that first picture that I showed you, where my mother was 35 or mid-30s, and in 2019, she was 94 years old, and she was then in Calcutta, and she was very sick, but she was not alone. What I show you here, that I was able to send my son, my oldest son, Alex, to visit her in Calcutta from here, right? Of course, she is sick, and she was with my my sisters, and she was fully cared of. So the point, what I'm saying, that is what I believe is what is the notion of health care. My mother did not have any health insurance, and there are millions of people in India. Again, I'm not talking about the country. There are many, they do not have health insurance, but they have the support of the people, and by which they live 90 plus years very comfortably. And that is, I think that America may consider that as a model, an alternative model. Thank you for your time.
I believe the Amish in this country use a very similar system. They self-insure. So when an Amish is sick, they'll go to the hospital and they'll pay out of their pocket, right? The elder will come from the community and pay. The Amish, they all contribute to the kind of a general welfare fund that they use to kind of self-insure for their mama. But they're very successful at being able to go in and pay person to person. The other thing that I mentioned is
all that cost that you mentioned, the 20% of it, it's not value added cost, which is the worst kind of cost, right? If there was some sort of value add, then that would make sense, but it's not value added cost. So anything we can do to take the non-value added, disintermediate the non-value added cost, everybody else is better off. And speed, you didn't mention, but it's much faster if I can go to the doctor than if I have to get permission from my capricious and arbitrary health provider that's going to tell me, no, I can't go see that doctor, no, I can go see. So, very good use case. And besides, I said, I don't know if you looked at the options, but it's worth looking at as you start looking.
Thank you so much. I think that your comments were very well taken.
Thank you. And if you want to keep in touch with Mr. Ash after the presentation, he has put his email and a phone number too for continue messaging, right? So if you want to build on this solution, you come here for the GitHub link, go for the discussions. You're going to find the discussion number 3 with the peer-to-peer healthcare payment system. Might be a very good one for you to start building. Thank you very much, Ash, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Brandy. If I got it correctly, let me see. Did you spell the name correctly?
Brandy, yes.
Brandy. So you can pick your links here. We're recording, so you can be in the front of the camera here with the microphone, and you want to present with this link, right?
Yeah, the camera. Do that.
There you go.
Hopefully it comes up.
You should present, and then we can move to Q&A. We're going to let you know. Okay? You want me to put on the presentation mode?
You're not it.
Let me see if I can do the presentation.
Usually it does, that's fine. If it doesn't.
It's good. Okay. I guess you have put the guide.
Alright, I could just press it, it was right. Okay.
We can just stand in the front of the camera. We're recording from this.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brandy Loveland. I am the Chief Innovation and Operations Officer at Harvest House Buffalo, which is not too far from here. I am very honored to be here. I was invited by Kit and a very wonderful group of people to talk about a challenge that I presented last week. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Harvest House, and then I'll tell you about my, if she gets mine, if it doesn't.
I just need to connect for some reason.
So a little bit about Harvest House. Harvest House is a nonprofit organization that works with communities to try to help people get services around the social determinants of health. And what that means is we provide services for people for housing, for economic stability, for quality health care, for education, all the areas, and community engagement. So we provide support in all different areas for people to grow. Some of our biggest areas are our Food as Medicine program, where we provide free food 2 times a week. Our free medical and dental clinic. It is the only dental clinic and medical clinic within a 300-mile radius that serves people consistency for free, first come, first serve. We also have a baby and children's ministry, which is the only ministry in the area that provides free clothing and big ticket items, including beds, strollers, all sorts of things for people who have children between the ages of 0 and 8th grade. And our housing program is a big one. We have 2 programs under there. One where we provide housing for people who are homeless and also people who have chronic illnesses. And then we have a workforce development program that provides a number of educational programs that focus on livable wages. So everything from construction to medical coding we have in our building, and everything in our building is free or almost free. So we serve a little over 25,000 people a year. That's including families from our building, and we kind of had people to help us calculate our investment, even though our budget's not that big, and it came up to over $31 million in community investment. And that comes from everything from the amount of food and services that we provide, all the way down to the things we provide, from preventing somebody going to medical emergencies. So our goal, because we found this to be a sustainable idea, because we do this not just by ourselves, but we partner with like over 21 other nonprofit organizations and businesses in the area to make this happen. It's been sustainable not only for the community, but it's also been sustainable for the nonprofit organizations that we work with. So our goal in the future is to share this model with other communities so that they can get the services that they need. One of the biggest things too is we partner with community members, like we help rebuild the block club in our area so that people will have a voice in what is happening within our building and what services that we provide, making sure that whatever we offer is what the community actually needs. So right now, because of everything going on with nonprofit organizations losing a lot of funding and needing support, we're seeing 2 problems come up. Number one, it's getting hard for us to get the funding in the future to be able to get the grants to sustain the work that we're doing. But also, we're seeing a lot more people, because other nonprofits are losing funding, coming to Harvest House for services. In fact, in the last week, we served so many people in dental, we had to turn away like 20 people in one time because of the amount of need. So we would love for you all to help us to create a solution where we can streamline our past grants, capture our stories and other informations so we can effectively and consistently communicate our mission, vision, and values to funders and donors, which is kind of a hard thing to do. You think about grant writing, especially because we're writing for various different programs. I wouldn't ask for grant funding for dental supplies for the baby and children's ministry. I need socks and underwear. So when I'm going to different people, they have different targets that I have to hit. Some grants are small and some grants are larger, and some grants need videos to go along with them. All of these things need to be collected, and I need to tell a compelling story, one compelling enough where people will want to give us funding so we can continue to do the work. And that's where we struggle. Harvest House writes about 60 grants a year, and those grants range from $1,000 to maybe about $250,000. Our budget is about $2 million, and 80% of our funding comes from grants, from not federal grants or government grants, but private grants, which has allowed us to sustain in a time where federal funding is being taken away from nonprofits. So this work is really, really important for us, and it's really, really important for the community that we serve. So if you can help us do that, if you could help us find a solution where we can answer this problem so we can write grants more effectively and get funding. It would be not just wonderful for us, but our hope, because Harvest House likes to share, is to also share this with other nonprofit organizations so that they will also be able to get the funding they need to sustain the good work that they're doing. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Randy. I think this is well articulated and even as a question.
Hi. First of all, thank you. I wanted to know what's the difference between grant which is $5,000 billion versus 500,000 or something like that, 50,000. I mean, because you said something along the lines of sometimes the effort would be the same across the two. So how does one define that the $5,000 grant?
So as far as it goes for us about the information that you need from a grant, it doesn't matter. What a funder asks for is what a funder asks for. Everything is really dependent on the funder and the foundation you go to. Some are like small family foundations, so they can only give like $1,000 or $5,000. But if you go to like a national funder, they may be able to give like $100,000 or $250,000. And now there's something new that's out there that's called venture philanthropy. And they do something where they give grant challenges every couple of years, but they're giving millions of dollars for you to have funding for like 4 or 5 years. Harvest House has tried for a couple of those, but because we weren't able to give more of a contextual story, we were not selected for the finals in either one. So it just depends. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
So this is a very beautiful local cause you have, and I really hope you secure more funding and get through this time. I had a question regarding, I think at the end you said that you were interested in seeing how you could, maybe aid your grant writing process. Is that right? Is that the main topic that you're interested in?
Yes. So every funder, and also with our donors, every donor has something that we have to focus on. So if we wrote a grant for medical and dental, 2 of the biggest areas that they'd like for us to write about right now at this time are grants that focus around their mission for helping seniors and helping veterans. So we would have to, even though we use kind of the same language, we would have to structure our grants around how are we going to provide support to veterans specifically and to seniors specifically for them to even consider us for funding.
All right.
Any other questions?
Hi, I just wanted to ask, what are like some sort of guidelines that I guess a proposal may require to be applicable for firms?
Oh, so I could give you the base things that we need. Like I said, there are a number of things, some things that we're not worried about, that we already have, like our budget. We have to keep that to keep our, our good numbers and guide star and all of that. Our bigger questions that we need to ask, we need to chronicle the competency of our staff. We need to tell the history of the organization because they want to know longevity. They want to know about the story of our partners and how we are working together for a mutual goal. They want to know more about our particular subject and how it actually helps the community. So if we are giving food out during the week, fresh produce, how many people in our community don't have access to produce? and we can say it's 55% of the people who come into our program do not have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. So they want those stories as well in there. Those are some of the major areas, but there are other things like they want to know, how are we working with community members and block clubs? How are we incorporating diversity, equity, and inclusion in our work? You know, all of these things are things that are asked for typically in a grant. There are other things, but those are some of the main components that go into one.
That makes sense. So you have the components, so somewhat outlined, but I guess I'm just wondering, like, is it open to like any, are you like looking for like pitches to write grants for?
No, we get a lot of grants that come in. We organize our system to know when grants are coming out. It's just a matter of us writing a current and adding that current and compelling context to the grant application itself. And when you write so many grants a year, everything kind of runs together. And with us at Harvest House, most of the people there are not technologically savvy. In fact, if you came to Harvest House, some of you would be shocked because even with our medical and dental records, they're still paper. So we don't use a lot of technology. We do have Google Forms, we do have Google Drive, we do have Outlook, we do have Microsoft Suite, but the rest of that, it's just a mishmash. So we're looking at all these different areas to try to get this information for one grant. And so we need to figure out a way to compile this into one thing. And so also with whatever solution comes out, if we type in, we need to focus on the baby and children's ministry, we need cribs and strollers. That's a big one for the families, or car seats, because they won't allow children to come out of the hospital without a car seat. We would love to go into something and type in, you know, what was the last 5 grants, maybe some that we wanted to have car seats, and it feed us that information. So it makes it less tedious for us to go through all that to find that information.
And just last question, do you have any sort of record or public record or example of like a successful versus unsuccessful grant?
Yes, so we keep all of our grants in OneDrive for every year, you know, typical file folders, and we could go through them. But like I said, we're going through a lot of files and opening a lot of files to actually get to what we need to find.
It's a difficult problem, and I'm just a little bit familiar with it because
Grants are hard.
We have one last question. I think this subject is the same.
So based on what you said, it's kind of really, it appears to me you need 2 things. You need a filter that allows you to filter the potential grants from websites like GrantWatch and those sorts of places. So in order to align, like you said, I need car seats. So to align with who's got car seats or who did provide funding, who did purchase car seats, right? That type of issue, right?
So almost but backwards. So we don't want to look for grants. We're able to find a lot of them. Sometimes we're invited. What we're needing is the actual content from our own database. So instead of like having it where we would be searching for different places that provide funding for car seats, we're saying we're applying for this car seat grant. Which grants have we written in the past that have that copy and context that we could draw from so we could start filling out that application?
So, but you have a list of needs, as you mentioned before, you have needs. But how much time do you spend trying to match your needs up to available grants so that you can then write? And if you're able to write, you're able to use assistance through AI to write your grant, then you'll be able to have better throughput. So you're doing 5 a month, now perhaps you do 6, 7, 8 a month. If you can get a line and then use that for throughput. Does that not work or
I don't know.
Let's find out.
Yeah, I think that's a great problem to solve, I guess. And a lot of people ask so many questions. So I think this is one thing which I see people are going to build. So I think for all the speakers, I have one request. A lot of you guys are subject matter experts, right? That Brian, she knows what it is, but a lot of people who are in tech, we are not aware of it, that how this is actually being solved. That's why we have so many caution on different problems. So I would request each and every speaker at that time the building, these participants is going to maybe write some questions and we are going to forward to you guys. So I would request that at least communicate with them so that whatever problem that they are solving, that they will get delivered and your problem statement is actually get solved. So, yeah.
Did you feel the discussion right? This one? Yeah. Just know we are recording.
But rather spend your time on this in a high power.
But also sometimes for the breaks, right? Even though we can hear the most,
Made that
way.
pseudo
Right? Sometimes it has nothing to do with the
So it was
probability,
100%
you know, because of what we're asking
Yeah,
for, we get
but we
read it off.
edited.
Sometimes,
You
and that's why
manually
we're
cut it
asking
in.
this,
Yeah,
sometimes.
use a bunch of different AI tools.
Because everybody is part of the foundation.
Yeah.
Showing with some evidence, right? I think that's what it makes.
The camera is not.
Yeah, I think
The camera needs your face. Yeah, just fixing the camera here. Our next speaker, Elias, is going to start with a video. 10.
I guess I could start with a video.
We're going to start with the introduction, and then we're going to play this video. The description is in the GitHub too, and we're going to get there just in a minute.
Cool. Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Elias Martinez. I am the CEO of Cubed Root, and we are creators of the world's first indoor community garden. So what we do is we rent out greenhouses and grow rooms within our warehouse and making it possible for people to grow what they want to grow year round. So essentially think of it kind of like a co-working space where instead of you renting out an office space, you rent out a greenhouse. All you need to do is bring your plants, your expertise, and you become a part of the community. So you're able to utilize all of our resources and in our facility. So like wash stations, cooling stations, sinks, storage spaces, anything that you might anything that a indoor farm might need. So the reason I say that we are the creators is because we technically don't operate in that way anymore. So about 2 years ago, we had to shut down our locations, simply just ran out of money. So that was in the summer of 2023. We had 2 locations, one in North Buffalo and another one in Elmwood Village. And during that time when we shut down our location, it was kind of a depressing moment, but we decided to do basically kind of like a soft pivot into software. So one of the things that that was challenging to our company was being able to manage all the people and resources in our location. So if you think about how co-working spaces and storage facilities operate, a lot of them have platforms that they use to distribute spaces, office spaces, track payments, track their users, and all other sorts of accountability and sort of KPI management. That was something that simply didn't exist for us. So instead of going out and paying someone to do it, I decided to build it myself. So I'm kind of in a different type of situation than other companies because I myself am a vibe coder. So when the chance came up for me to actually start building out the software, I took it and ran. So what I use is bolt.new. Started putting that out there and testing out all of the potential ways that I could create a software that had all of the stuff that we needed. So it took about 1.5 years kind of just in the ideation. And once November came around when is anybody familiar with bolt.new at all? Yeah? Okay. So I just started using it, playing around with it. And I was able to really speed up the amount of development that occurred. Before I decided to use bolt.new, I started using Figma. I have a background in graphic design, so Figma was actually pretty easy to use. Just developing or kind of creating the UI, creating what the vibe and what the feel it was that I was trying to create. So the software that I created is called Demeter. It's a DMTR. I just took out the E's to make it look cool, but the software is called Demeter. And Demeter, that is the goddess of, the Greek goddess of agriculture that brought knowledge and the expertise of agriculture to humanity. So that is the kind of the philosophy behind the software, is being able to bring that knowledge and accessibility to agriculture that this mythical figure had. So so the software is basically I'm forgetting now. So the architecture is it's a multi-tenant architecture where the admin. Let me tell you about what Demeter is actually. So sorry if I kind of go off course. So the software Demeter is basically software for community gardens. One of the things that I experienced in building out the software, I spoke with other community garden or other people that ran community gardens and communal growing spaces, and they all had the same issues that I did. So I took all that information, all the stuff that I had challenges with, and entered it into bolt.new and created the software and answered all of the issues that were coming out with it. So that's essentially what it is. It's software for community gardens to allow them to be able to create the community gardens and be able to interact with their growers and users. We're implementing a bunch of stuff into it. As far as like AI, we're building into it if you are familiar with the Farmer's Almanac, we're putting in there AI assisted Farmer's Almanac. There's a bunch of other features that we're putting in there. Yeah, I mean, I could answer your questions, but one of the kind of philosophies or one of the philosophies that we're creating is the fact that we're ushering in the fifth revolution of agriculture. So that's kind of where the segue is into this video that I created from AI tools that I just got access to, paid less than $40. Took me about a week to put together. And I otherwise wouldn't have come up with this idea. Luckily, I was on edibles on the beach, and that's kind of where I just put it all together in my brain and just put it in. This is what it is here. 1 second. Oh, the sound's down. Hold on. Is it this thing here? Okay. All right. Go there. Quick play.
10,000 years I have watched you. I am Demeter, goddess of the harvest. The first, I gave you knowledge. The second, I gave you order. The third, I gave you efficiency. The fourth, I gave you precision. Each time I advanced your hand, and each time you drifted further from the soil and from each other. Now your fields shrink, your cities swell. So for the fifth revolution, I give you this. Community. Not to conquer the land, but to belong to it again. This is your chance to return. Reunite.
Cool. And I'll end it there. Well, thank you. So yeah, I'll answer any questions you guys have.
I have a question.
So what features does your software have for community gardens?
Yeah, so one of the issues that people had, that community garden organizers have, are really distributed types of antiquated technology. So things like Google Forms, spreadsheets, like messaging people through text messaging. So what our feature has is a streamlined way for people to sign up into the community garden. Let me go to the website and I'll kind of show it to you there, I guess. So let me close this. Sorry. So, and that's a good question. I'd just rather show you. This is our landing page. So I have the link to the video in the GitHub thing. So if you guys find it, feel free to share it. That'd be nice. So we have grower plot management, real-time communication hub, a tool and resource checkout, AI assistance, report and rules tracking. And one of the things that we're currently sort of working on is the store and shopping tools. So this kind of explains what it is. Oh, you can't see that there. Oh, that's kind of the what the main features in the thing there. If it answers any questions, go. All right.
You said you did some vibe coding. Is that mainly for this mini picture? Do you have some of the software?
I have some of the software. I just didn't know if I should bring it or not. I have the link and everything, but I have the admin side and I have the grower side. It probably would take 30 minutes to kind of run through the whole thing and show you everything, but yeah, I do have it already. We're probably about 85 to 90% completed. We have some pilot testers that are ready to go, some community gardens in the area. We just ran into some issues you always do when you try to take vibe coding production. That's kind of what we're dealing right now. Yeah, thank you.
Any more questions?
One question. What do you use it for the video?
Oh, what I use for the video. So I use OpenAI for images. I use Kling AI for video generation. 11 Labs for voice. Suno for music. And some Mid-Journey in one of the pictures there.
We also edited yourself.
I edited myself on iMovie. So kind of just getting everything together really cheaply. You can't beat that, $40. Yeah, I got the subscription for 1 month and then I kind of was like, okay, thank you, bye. And that was it. So
This is what I'm calling,
yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Cool, no worries, thank you.
For the presentation. Very much. I think
That
now
was
we
super
have
cool.
a couple of virtual speakers.
And just as a reminder, you can find all the contact information and you can also start a discussion like, hey, I have a question, how I use a product or how I start building on it. You can communicate with all of the speakers from here, from GitHub, okay? And we also have some online participants, some virtual participants to showcase their user cases today. So let me see. We have here, we should have Jyoti next, right?
Yes.
We should have Jyoti, Tony. We have speakers from all over the place today, from SF, from Jyoti. Where are you calling from? I forgot.
Yes. Hey everyone.
Let me see if
Can
I
you hear me properly? Can you hear me properly?
Okay, yes, I can hear. Just put
Okay.
me
So my name is Jyoti and I am from New Jersey, USA.
Oh, New Jersey, very nearby.
Yes. Hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this session, Matthews, and I would like to go with my quick introduction.
Let me pull you up. If you want to share your screen,
Yes.
I can.
Sure.
Also, I have your project here, Echo Cloud, and then you can share your screen, and then I jump it over if you want. Okay.
Sure. Let me just okay. Let me share my screen.
Okay. And then you do your introduction. We have about a dozen people, a little more than a dozen people here watching you, and they're going to ask questions later, and more virtually, maybe 20 or more virtually. Okay.
Are you able to see?
Yes. Let me see if we
Okay.
can unlock.
So let's get started. My name is Jyoti and I am a seasoned technology leader with 18 plus years of experience in the IT industry, blending deep technical expertise with strategic vision, extensive experience in full stack development, enterprise architecture, and AI powered digital transformation. I am currently a director of applications development at ADP, so I'm superheading one of the GenAI project over there. So here I am to present. I'm really excited to introduce about the Eco Cloud. It's a novel framework that integrates AI, sustainability, and cloud computing. So the goal is to address the growing environmental footprint of AI workloads running in cloud environments. Data centers now consume 3% of global electricity and are on track to double this by 2030. EcoCloud introduces three synergistic strategies: green energy integration, carbon aware computing, and serverless architecture. Together, these enable AI training to be done more sustainably without compromising performance or SLAs. We will walk through the environmental challenges, architectural components, key metrics, and future outlook. I will also discuss some implementation cases, example, and mitigation strategies for real world constraints. This topic is timely as the demand for AI models like GPT continues to skyrocket. So let's dive into why this matters and how EcoCloud can make a meaningful impact. But before we move next, you might ask, how is EcoCloud different from existing green data center practices? So existing practices focus mainly on renewable procurement and efficiency metrics like PUE. EcoCloud extends this by integrating real time carbon intensity forecasting, job scheduling based on carbon footprint, and serverless workloads, creating a closed loop architecture that optimizes both sustainability and performance. So, AI model training consumes enormous compute resources, which translates into high electricity use. Training GPT-2 produces more carbon dioxide than the lifetime emission of a standard gasoline car. Newer models like GPT-4 and beyond will only increase this footprint. Data centers could account for up to 21% electricity use by 2030. Cooling systems alone account for a significant portion of this energy usage. Beyond electricity, water consumption and e waste are also rising sharply. The environmental cost of every AI experiment is no longer negligible. Without systemic changes, AI could become one of the fastest growing resources of carbon emissions. EcoCloud acknowledges this risk and offers architectural redesigns to mitigate it. It moves from reactive efficiency to proactive carbon intelligent design. So, how does the AI workload energy compares to other sectors like finance or gaming? So, AI workloads, especially training large model, consume more energy per unit task than typical finance or gaming workloads. For context, training GPT-3 is equivalent to powering an average US home for over 300 years, which is much higher than running gaming infrastructure or even high frequency trading platforms. Green energy adoption in the cloud data center. So, major cloud providers like Google, Microsoft, Amazon are aggressively pursuing renewables. Many have hit 100% annual offset goals, but that's not the same as 24 by 7 local green energy. EcoCloud emphasizes carbon aware design rather than carbon neutral accounting. On site solar and wind farms, PPAs, and renewable energy credits are key tools. The renewable energy factor, known as REF, tracks what percent of the actual power used is for clean sources. Google's data center, for example, have an industry-based PUE, which is power usage effectiveness of 1.10. REF and PUE must be considered jointly. Clean energy is good, but efficient usage is better. Regulatory pressures in Europe are now mandating REF reporting. EcoCloud uses REF as an optimization parameter during job scheduling. Our goal is to optimize both the source and the usage of energy. So, how does REF differ from PUE? So, PUE measures energy efficiency of a data center. For example, how much power goes to computing versus overhead, while REF, which is renewable energy factor, measures the percentage of energy sourced from renewables. High REF with low PUE is the ideal scenario for green computing. Carbon aware scheduling for AI workloads. So, not all hours or regions are equally clean in terms of electricity. Carbon aware scheduling aligns workload execution with times, places of lower carbon intensity. It uses real time grid carbon intensity data. Workloads can be time shifted, that means it can be run later, or geo shifted, run elsewhere for a greener execution. Techniques like flexible start, pause and resume, and geographic shifting can come into play. Google already uses carbon intelligence scheduling for bad jobs like video processing. EcoCloud extends this to AI training jobs with support for checkpointing and resumes. The benefit: substantial emission reduction without affecting SLAs. This scheduling respects deadline but uses the greenest part to meet them. It's AI training aligned with climate awareness. So, what granularity do carbon intensity forecast has? So, carbon intensity forecasts are typically available at hourly intervals, while some providers like Electricity Maps offering even 15-minute granularity using historical patterns, real-time grid data, and weather-based renewable forecast. Let's go through the architecture of the serverless architecture for energy efficiency. Traditional cloud setup often provisions servers, leading to significant idle energy waste. Serverless computing activates resources only when needed and scales them back to zero after use. EcoCloud utilizes function as a service and container orchestrations to build training pipelines. Microservices divide training into independently deployable components like data ingestion, training, evaluation. This fine grained control drastically reduces the idle compute time. Energy utilization is nearly 100%. Every watt powers a real computation. Serverless also supports rapid elasticity and multi tenant sharing of resources. It complements carbon aware scheduling by reducing wasted energy during cleaner products. GPU backed serverless clusters are now supported by several cloud providers like AWS Batch, GCP Vertex AI. EcoCloud ensures we use only the compute needed when and where. So, how do we handle the long running jobs in a serverless setups? So, we extend traditional serverless with container based serverless orchestration. For example, Kubernetes with Gnative or AWS Patch. This allows GPU based containers to handle multi hour workloads while still enabling on demand provisioning and delocation. So next is we will go over the EcoCloud architecture overview. So I will discuss a little bit of in detail about this architecture. So EcoCloud is a conceptual architecture that synergizes the above elements into unified platform for sustainable AI model training. The goal is to enable AI workloads like training deep neural networks or on TensorFlow or PyTorch to run with minimum carbon footprint by leveraging both the physical infrastructure and intelligent scheduling. At the heart of the EcoCloud is a carbon aware scheduler and orchestrator. This component, they monitor real time data about each cloud's region's power mix and carbon intensity and uses this information to make smart decisions about where and when to run AI training jobs. The scheduler receives AI training tasks submitted by the user or AI pipeline triggers complete with any flexibility constraint. A job might have a latest completion deadline but can start anytime before that. It also continuously ingests carbon intensity forecast for each data center region, hours before the execution of the job. So, consequently, if region A has abundant wind energy tonight, the job may be scheduled to run there overnight. If region B's grid is currently coal heavy, the scheduler might avoid running anything in B until its grid mix improves or route jobs out of B. So, if I look at the slide that I'm presenting over here, in short, the step one, the user submits a job with resource requirement and flexibility constraint. Step 2 will be the scheduler fetches carbon intensity forecast and scores available region. Step 3, the best fit region is selected and the serverless cluster spins up on demand. Step 4, if the carbon context changes, job can pause, checkpoint, or migrate elsewhere. Step 5, after completion, resources are decommissioned and carbon reports are generated. The scheduler balances SLA targets, carbon savings, and resource availability. It integrates with carbon APIs, energy managers, and serverless runtime APIs. The architecture modularizes carbon decision making and execution orchestration. Think of it as a Kubernetes meets electricity map meets auto ML pipeline with a green concise. So, how does migration between the region affects training continuity? This might be a question you might have. So, migration is handled using checkpointing, where training jobs periodically save model state and optimize the data. Migration involves transferring this checkpoint and resuming, similar to distributed training. This has been tested in hybrid cloud and multi region ML platforms. So, what are the key metrics and performance indicator? So, we use three metric categories: energy, environment, and performance. Energy metrics include power usage effectiveness, throughput watt, and utilization rate. Environmental metrics include carbon emissions, carbon dioxide emissions, carbon intensity, renewable factor, renewable energy factor, and carbon reduction.
Hello, Jyoti.
Performance, yeah,
Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to ask if you want to leave some time for Q&A from the
yes,
audience.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
so,
I'm just at my last slide. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's go over to the next. So, what are the challenges and the future outlook? So, Eco Cloud is powerful, but not without real world challenges. First, some AI workloads cannot tolerate delays or interruption. Second, moving data between regions can be costly and slow. Third, carbon forecast may be inaccurate due to weather unpredictability. And fourth, multi tenant fairness. How do you prioritize green aware versus urgent jobs? So, this is still evolving and we are still researching on that. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Yodi. It was nice to have a presentation. We also have your page in the GitHub discussion, is the Echo
Yes.
Cloud, right?
Yes.
And people can contact you through email and LinkedIn. Would you have a
Yes.
preference?
Yes,
Okay, no,
I'm open to both, and I have a research paper. If the audience can go through it, ask me questions over there, and I will answer it over here.
wonderful. Do you have any questions for Jyoti? Yes, we have one question. Let me get you a mic.
Like, will it be single region or multi-region cloud? And from
Yeah, workload perspective as well, like are we looking at LLM training or ML batch jobs or just or like inference to
Okay, so the first question is if it's going to be like single cloud or multi-cloud, what would this go? And the second are about the jobs, the workloads.
training jobs are looking like? Is it fine tuning LLM training jobs or are we also looking at small ML batch jobs?
Like inference and all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if the jobs are going to be more for training, fine tuning the models or training the models weights directly, or if it's going to be more for just the inference, calculate inference over the models.
Can you repeat it again? You were breaking.
So the first question is maybe start with that. It's going to be like single cloud or multi-cloud, multi-tenant or something like that. And the second, yeah, the multi-regions, a single region or multi-region. And the second question is the kind of job. Is if it's going to be just for training models and fine-tuning models, or also doing inference.
So it is mostly for the training models, like how I mentioned that we are still evolving, we are still over there. So this model will accurately work for training because there are a lot of resources that are being run overhead because of all the AI training jobs that we have. Okay, so
Okay.
so what I understand, it was where it is applicable, right, to the inference or only to the training. So while this eco cloud that is designed is around the high compute demands of training, that's what I was mentioning. Inference tasks can also benefit to a certain aspect, especially for batch inference scenario where geothermal flexibility and serverless execution are viable, but mostly it would work for training.
That's wonderful. Good. Do you have a follow-up question? It's good. Okay, yeah. Any other specific questions? And now, again, we have the contacts of all of the speakers here, and we can keep this conversation going for the whole week, iterating back and forth, asking for more information and all. Thank you very
Sure.
much, John, for participating.
Thank you so much for having me here, and I enjoyed.
That's
Thank you.
wonderful. Okay. Next in line, we have another virtual speaker, Anand from SF. Um, okay, he's still coming through. Should be coming in a couple minutes. Ankit, you want to put your special? We have Anand here. So Ankit next. Anand, you want to introduce yourself and your special offer for the Build Week?
Yes, absolutely. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. I have a sucky internet from Gen AI conference. I'm attending from the conference room right now. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm Anand Valamsetla. I go by the name The Y-Man, and I have 26 years of experience. I'm an ex-Googler, engineering manager. I taught AI and blockchain business applications to executives, 1,500 executives over the last 6 years. I won 10 hackathons in AI and blockchain technologies. So I'm building this company called Resilience AI. It's a AI plus human coaching platform for building resilience for life by changing your micro behaviors with our digital vaccine. We invented a digital vaccine called BIAS, behavior improvement with agile stress elimination. We have a awesome course content that we deliver over 6 weeks. You take this digital vaccine, you are immune from depression and anxiety. That's core number one. Number two is we have AI coach that can actually coach you throughout the program and give you information, specific information about changing your behaviors. The most important one is the third one, that we actually quantify the results of your improvement through your blood test report. If you have a blood test report, you just bring to us, and we actually calculate biological age of every organ in your body, and we'll tell you exactly what you need to change in order to improve your wellness. So we can calculate your biological age before the program and after the program, and we can quantitatively prove that you have gotten better. So that's what we are doing. Out of that, AI coach is most of the important aspect of it. That's where we are issuing a challenge for you. If you actually solve the entire problem, that means your skill is too valuable to be wasted. So we are going to hire you. We are going to give you internship in our company.
Thanks for trusting us. So just to get everyone in the same page, you have put your description here for the resilience AI, right? Do you want to share your screen with the presentation, or do you want to go over the GitHub? How you would prefer then? The problem description for you to present for everyone, and then we can have 5 minutes of Q&A after.
Yeah. So I see mirroring. My internet is loading up slow on this side. So
yeah, either you can present your screen, or
yeah,
you
please present your screen. Please present the screen. That would be nice.
That's great. If you want, I can, for example, stop presenting my screen and you present yours if you prefer, or I can present from here as you prefer.
Yeah, I can. Let me see if I can present. Let's see.
Okay.
Your screen. Let's say AI. Okay. So our idea is basically 24/7 human-backed AI coach that works even in the remote jungles of Amazon where there is no internet. So what does that mean? So anxiety and depression is just some pain points that we want to discuss is basically that wellness in general, anxiety and depression is an epidemic already. AI job losses is going to increase that anxiety even further. Currently, human coaching exists and it is not accessible for many people because of the cost or number of coaches that are not many. So we want to make this coaching available for a wider population and also increase the effectiveness of coaches by 100x. So right now, problem one, adult working population needs coaching to improve their behaviors and well-being. Problem two is also similar to it. It's that 1 in 4 teenagers are dying because of a safe space to ask questions and deal with the tremendous stress, right? The challenge is basically to make this coaching available everywhere on planet Earth, anywhere, even if you don't have internet. That's what we are trying to do. And also, it has to be privacy preserving. So some context behind it, there are solutions out there. I used personal coaching myself, and I actually reversed pre-diabetic condition with this technique that I call it as a digital vaccine bias vaccine. There are companies like Lira, and the Lira offers a live coaching. Talk to Ash, Vesa, WeBot, and Uber. They have some AI chatbots. But what we want to build is a AI bot that is a resilience AI RAI bot that is backed by human coaching, where you can ask a coach, where you actually ask a bot to schedule a meeting with a real coach if the AI bot is not helping you. And it will take care of scheduling appointments based on customers as well as the coach's live availability. So that's what we call as human-backed AI bot. So many of the solutions have limitations. Most of them use cloud AI. That means every one of them have to have internet availability. Something like ChatGPT or Gemini, that's what they use. However, Raibot should be available even when I travel to remote places because anxiety and stress doesn't sleep. And also, they don't provide privacy because most of the data is uploaded to these chatbots. What we want is this privacy preserving chatbot that works only in local device. Why is this a great time to build this particular technology? Is that there is an awesome technology called Web AI that actually provides a local AI that is much more faster and secure and privacy preserving. That means the data doesn't leave the device itself. So here are the links to Web AI, and we are building a PWA app that's basically you build once and run anywhere. There are alternative solutions like Eternos.life, Hagen, Akul. They all have video avatars to replicate users' image, voice, content, everything. However, none of them work where there is no internet. That is the key piece that we want to get to. Technical functionality requirements, we are building an AngularJS PWA app with WebAI. You could use any LLM. I prefer using open source LLMs like Gemma, from Google. You can use any of them. User-facing requirements, you should be able to interact with the video version of a person and get coaching. That's all it is from a user perspective. Integration needs, this app, basically the feature that you're building will be part of a ride.out app. This is available right now. You can check it out. And scheduling piece, this is not a major feature, but if you can get it, get it. It's a Google Calendar. That's a simple integration. You can do it. The solution should be able to work on both mobile, tablet, and desktops. Non-functional requirements, you need to have faster interaction because it has to feel like a natural human interaction. So seamless interaction would be awesome. All my bio information is at here, the yman.bio. You have 27 different ways to connect with me. I like either WhatsApp or LinkedIn. Here's my email. This is my phone number. Telegram is the same thing, but LinkedIn, you get it out of the yman.bio. So feel free to connect with me, ask any questions, and I'll be happy to share.
Kind of solution, the best candidate for being your intern in resilience AI, like what you're looking for, because I guess you're going to get someone here. Just like what are you looking for a good intern for your project?
What does it say again? I'm losing the connection is a little bit bad here.
Yeah, I'm confident that you're going to get a good internship position from this build week. What are you looking for in the intern? Maybe it's a person with education or a person with industry experience, or what are the best traits that you're looking for?
Curiosity. Just bring curiosity. Just bring curiosity. I'll teach everything else because I've taught experts for almost 6 years. I know the architectures. I'm an ex-Googler. I know the technology that I want to build, everything. I just need curiosity and passion to solve this problem.
Nice. So do we have any curious questions? I have Palash with the hand raised. He built a very interesting hackathon project at that time that resonates a lot with what we spoken on, that I remember. We have two questions from the audience so far. Kit, would you pass the microphone for Palash, please?
Can I see it in the chat, maybe?
Yeah, and let's see if we can hear the question. If not, I can speak back to you.
So one of the integration needs that's mentioned is like being integrated to Rido app.
It is hard to hear. It's actually really hard to hear.
I'll voice your role for you again. No worry.
So basically, if I would do this and like try to integrate to Rido app, is there any resources to kind of connect to Rido somehow? Or
if for example, if for
should it be the standalone thing?
Yeah, if he's integrating, you mentioned Radar app or what did you say, Kalash?
The Rido app. So under integration needs on the data, it says feature to be integrated in Rido app, and then it also goes to Google Calendar.
Yeah, he's asking about the Radar app that you put in the documentation.
Don't worry about it. Just check out the app. It's an AngularJS app. Just build whatever you need to build, and we'll integrate it later into the app.
Okay.
Just to follow up, are you married to AngularJS?
Do you like Angular? Because people prefer Next.js or PHP, whatever.
The reason I like is because I'm an ex-Googler, and many of the apps are actually AngularJS applications, and it is one of the I like JavaScript. I like JavaScript more than PHP. So yeah, just build the apps, and doesn't matter whether Next.js or whatever it is, doesn't matter. We will put it into Cursor and actually convert into JavaScript.
Bro, Angular 20 just released MCP servers last week. Since Angular 18, you have the response API. Angular is going to treat you well with vibe coding. Just trust it, okay? We have another question from the audience. Oh, yeah. Another React person complaining about Angular, but it's open-ended. So long it uses Angular is good. Just kidding. It's open-ended, right?
Yes, it is open-ended. I mean, as long as you solve that no internet piece, that's it. You're golden. You're golden. Doesn't matter.
But as a little extra challenge, if anyone wants help to set up Angular setup, with MCP servers, it is really good for vibe coding. I'm no kidding. Just test that last week, and it's good stuff. Like not way better than React, but it's not as bad as the reputation of Angular. Okay, and I'm not sponsored by Google, but I can say that because I've built some versions with Angular. I know what you're saying, Anand. Okay, any other questions? Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. And people should be contacting you through email or through GitHub. The discussions might go there.
Yep.
And if you can check that once per day, I can ping you whenever we have more discussions. Probably we're going to have some cool projects built until Friday.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anand. It was a pleasure. And I guess that's the last presentation from today. Where is Ankit? Ankit, would you like to present your ideas that you have?
Sure. Now that you've called me out, I would. All right. Hi everyone, I'm Ankit. As I mentioned before, I began this week. One of the things that I've been trying to solve is to really enable the understanding of AI.
Can you speak to the camera to give a problem?
Sure. Hi, chat. All right. I shouldn't have looked at the camera now that I look at it. All right. So I'm a project program and product manager. I have experience spanning around 8 industries. And one of the things that I really want to enable in the time is to really empower technology and domain knowledge with AI. AI itself is not, in my opinion, is really not a technology, but it's more of a wireframe to build a more mature IT model and enable automation of certain repetitive tasks. And one thing that we do at Ganson Street is to really work with folks from various business from various scales and sizes to really understand what is it that they really want to solve at the end of the day and find a happy path to that solution. A lot of time it requires AI enablement. A lot of time it just requires building a simple data warehouse. But there's always a way. So the thing that I want to pitch at this event is I'm building, as I mentioned before, I'm building an AI community where I'm getting folks to interact, whether they are data scientists or just subject matter experts in their domain. As long as you have value to provide to make AI better, we want you. And the one thing that, as my personal pain point I've been facing, is to really build a frugal platform which can not only ingest new interested party and put them in specific buckets based on their entry points, but also find ways to engage with them and keep them interested. Gamify the knowledge transfer of AI. So what I'm looking for today is to really build that front end, which communicates with my potential stakeholders and gives me the data at the back end. I'll keep it short and simple. That's my ask. Questions? Sorry?
So if you want to check more on this idea, all the links are, which is a link here? This one. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to copy that for a new discussion. So Any questions from the audience in the meantime? So if you want to reach out to Ankit, I'm going to just create a new discussion here, and you can pick this project for you to build upon. This is a great idea, and you detail it very well. Very
And it's
good.
really straightforward for it to be built in the span of this workshop, hackathon. And yeah, if somebody picks it up, I'm going to have to talk to you and how I want to prioritize it and build features, I guess.
Nice. So are you also kind of getting an internship, working together with the person?
I mean, it depends on the progress we make. Gas Street prides itself with working with the Indian community and people who have experience of over 3+ years, but they come to the US struggling to find a job or trying to find the right project to fit them or build a portfolio. And we're working with folks like this. So if you are one of those people, if you want an internship, yeah, sure. Show me your work and I'll help you become some sort of professional skills.
Nice. So if you're looking for something sizable for this week, you can count. Are you going to be mentoring during the week too, Ankit? Yeah. So you can reach out to him both as a mentor or as the host of this idea, and this is a very good project too.
Yeah, I specialize in product management, so I have a way of transforming user needs and use cases and metrics into right features. So I'm really happy to workshop these ideas that you have and just find the right features you want to launch first, and then this project so that it becomes a more successful venture down the line.
Wonderful. Questions from the audience? Yes, one question.
So what would be the difference between the normal social media app and the platform that you're going to build?
I think the biggest differentiator is I want to unify the platform in the sense that social media generally serves the only hope in social media is engaging content as what we call content. What we are trying to give is knowledge-based content, and that is really important for people to go through, especially because when you look at it, you feel like you're learning. And, so finding a way to really gamify, finding a way to post challenges is one of the things that I'm really interested in doing. AI challenges and getting people who are from non-AI community and AI community to work together. Because at the end of the day, what's happening is we have these really smart professionals who know how to build stuff, and then we have this class of people who know how to productize, but there's this lack of bridge. And now AI is coming in play, and AI is automating a lot of product side of things and coding side of things, so the dynamics are changing. And I don't think there's anything like this around. I mean, at the end of the day, you can just do a Discord server or GitLab or something like that, and that will solve the problem as well. But I think I want it to be more engaging, and I want to hooks to keep people on the path forward. And I feel having it on a social media platform kind of shows, at least in my opinion, as a business, shows that you see it. Having a standalone platform shows that yes, putting the time and effort. So I think these are the three reasons that I feel professional aesthetics of the idea itself, as well as finding ways to engage with the product. I hope that answers the question. Any questions?
Thank you, Ankit.
Thanks so much. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so just to clarify, the front end is here. The discussion for this problem is here in the GitHub. And if you're watching this recording later, we are at 3 hours of recording, so maybe if you went up to here, maybe we're going to clip that. We're going to put all of this information in the README. So you're going to find the slide presentation here as a link. You're going to find the recording as soon as we process it, maybe tomorrow. You're going to find it here, and we are going to be building from 9 to 5, we have lunch every day, okay? So you can come here to have lunch with us from 9 to 5 until Friday. On Friday, we're going to have this demo day. You can apply already. It's in your calendar. We're going to put the link here too for you to guarantee your placement to pitch. If you want to pitch it virtually, if you are not in Buffalo, if you are in another city, we need to arrange that and we need to review. And everyone here also should apply for pitching so that we can guarantee the space. And we are going to be doing mentoring every day, okay, sessions every day, workshops, mentoring, Q&A, more pizza, lunch, maybe even barbecue, who knows. So it's going to be a full week of building and vibing together so that you can come here in a Friday, launch your startup, solving this real problem. It's not a problem from your head, it's a problem that you listened to it today, you paid attention and you know who to build that to, and this is going to give you at least one customer. After you have one customer, you can have 10, you can have 100, you can have 1,000, make $1 million, $1 billion, and then the sky is the limit, right? So this is the path that we want to put you. Let's push through this week. Let's pay attention to these pitches that we saw today, and let's vibe code a solution for them until Friday. Okay? Do you want to do a closer? Yeah, we are at 3 hours, minutes of recording. That's enough time to get us entertained, right? So we're going to close over here. Thank you everyone that came today. Thank you for all of you that are watching this live, all of you that are watching this recording later. This is the week for us to build something. Thank you very much.
Thank you.